Hey guys, this is Seth here with a very important video. As you guys noticed, it is a stream announcement related to Sony. Well, you probably know what it is now, considering it is February 19th, and there's a certain thing going on tomorrow in relation to Sony. But let me explain, as I should note that things are kind of a little bit screwed with Procaster right now, as it did in fact update just a bit ago. So I'm having to refix all the options and everything, but as far as I know, I've gotten most of it worked out, so it's all on my end. But yes, Sony is indeed doing a big press event in relation to the PlayStation stuff tomorrow afternoon. Well, you gotta say it's evening. Tomorrow at 6 o'clock p.m. Eastern Time. That's 11 o'clock p.m. UK time and 3 o'clock p.m. Pacific time. This is tomorrow. Now, I will actually be doing a stream myself to cover the whole thing, because this could very well be the announcement of the next generation console for Sony. You guys are well aware that for quite a while now, for the last month or two, maybe even 3 months, we've been really just bombarded with PS4 rumors. They've been incessant, constant, non-stop PS4 rumors, and we may very well find out whether the rumor machine for the PS4 will ease back quite a bit tomorrow, because it's also being rumored that this press event will include the grand unveiling of the PlayStation 4. Now, whether that will happen or not is a matter of opinion. This is something I'm going to be getting into detail more on in terms of what I feel Sony needs to do in their press event, what I feel they need to do in their next generation to do better. Because if I do recall correctly, Sony did the worst out of this generation. You know, it was Nintendo with their Wii up at the top, then it was the Xbox 360 with Microsoft, and then Sony was at the bottom in third with their PS3, mostly because they got off to a very rocky start with the console. Do I feel, that the PS4 will be announced? All these questions are going to be announced tomorrow. I will start streaming at 4:30 o'clock, 4:30 p.m. Eastern Time. That's 9:30 p.m. UK time and 1:30 p.m. Pacific Time. So if you do wish to know, follow along. I will be using XSplit for that. So although Procaster is being used right now to record this video, it'll actually be XSplit I'll be using to cover Sony's big announcement. Because I'm actually starting to, I'm trying to work my way into XSplit very gradually. So with each time I do use XSplit, I'm kind of working out audio troubles and all that to get to the settings I want them to be, and then I'm going to actually focus on just those. Okay. Like I said, all my opinions on what's going to all my analysis will be tomorrow. 4:30 p.m. will be to 5 p.m. during the stream. We'll be pretty much just introducing what's going to happen. Pretty much an entire history of, well, not really an entire history, but like a summary of what has led up to this whole thing. If I do remember all these details, the most inactive part of the stream will be from 4:30 p.m. to 5 p.m. because it's mostly going to be hype, but it's before any shows are going to start up from any of the big gaming media sites. IGN is going to be starting up their coverage at 5 o'clock p.m. and that's when we're going to get down to the nitty gritty. That for the next hour from 5 p.m. Eastern to 6 p.m. Eastern, it's just going to be all the hype, all the analysis. I'm going to be giving my opinions on how I feel things should go for Sony, and well, in the meantime, we're going to be taking a look at the live feed of what's going on in New York City, where this is supposed to be unfolding. There's going to be a lot unfolding during that hour. Well, there may be leaks. There will also be the latest information. Um, it's all going to lead up to 6 o'clock p.m. Eastern Time, where there will be live commentary of the conference live. Who the hell knows how long the conference is going to be going? No one knows. Some are assuming it's going to be an hour. I wouldn't be surprised if it was an hour. If it's an hour, okay. Either way, the stream will be going for another hour afterwards for post analysis. How I feel this will stack up, how I feel that will stack up, etc., etc. And of course, again, the latest information. Think of it as like a pre E3 practice event. This is pretty much what will be practice for what will be a week of E3 coverage coming up in June on Sonic Paradox. So do expect things to be kind of experimented and other stuff, but indeed, I think I've covered everything. I'm trying to think if I've forgotten anything else. I should note there will not be any debug mode in relation to that. It's still on hiatus until whenever. But do not expect this to be uploaded to YouTube, because obviously it's gonna have stuff that I can't include. I can't edit that stuff out. That's the thing. There's no way to edit that stuff out. I don't have the proper software at this time to do so. So once I were to get proper editing software, then I can start uploading stuff, even if it's got copyrighted material, because I can just edit it out. But I can't do that. So unfortunately, I will be having to resort to just not putting it up at all. But you guys will be able to see it live. Like I said, it'll be the Sonic Paradox's coverage of Sony's press event will be tomorrow, as I said, 4:30 p.m. Eastern, 9:30 p.m. UK time, and what was it? 1:30 p.m. Pacific time. Here's hoping that something good will come out of this. It's looking very promising. As I said, I'm holding back on really saying a whole lot about this until tomorrow, so I have plenty to talk about. And not to mention, I kind of want to rest my voice, because you better believe I'm going to be talking for like 3-4 hours. But do know that I'm very well capable of talking for many, many hours. I mean, I proved it during the E3 coverage that I can go on and on for 10-12 hours and not even lose my voice. So it's really amazing how strong my voice box is. But it helps having drinks, to kind of keep yourself going. But last year's E3 coverage did prove that I'm very well capable of going for multiple hours. I constantly prove that time to time that I can go for 3-4 hours and not lose any, my voice at all. And as I said, this is probably going to be the biggest event we're going to have until E3. Honestly, there really is no point in any other hyping up of gaming news until E3. Really, E3 is what I'm looking forward to at this point. It's going to be the main thing. There's no doubt in my mind that E3 will be the thing to keep an eye out on. There's going to be a lot going on. If we don't get a PS4 announcement here, we're probably going to get it during E3. If we don't get an Xbox 720 announcement here, we're definitely going to get it during E3. E3 is looking to be quite possibly the biggest E3 yet. Last year I said that, but that was mostly because of the Wii U. Now when it comes to E3 and the Wii U, there really isn't a whole lot to expect. We know at the very least there will be a bit of news. We're going to see our first look at the next Super Smash Brothers game. Well, only as far as we know, only screenshots, because apparently that's as far as they've gotten right now. That we can only get screenshots. I'm sure by then we'll know definitely what the next Sonic game will be and what the general plot will be, and then by E3 we'll probably get a trailer. It's too early to make E3 predictions at this time. It's only February, and when it comes to E3, stuff doesn't really come out until we're not going to know anything E3 related for another month or two at the earliest, and that's mostly for the earliest companies announcing, their E3 times. This won't be until June that E3 is happening, and already we're talking about because already I'm here talking about because well it's E3, but like I said, it's also because E3 is looking to be very, very, very peculiar this year, and unlike the past few E3s, where we may actually be getting some decent details about the Wii U for once, like last year, which was really disappointing. Like last E3 was much more disappointing than I expected it to be. Um, I never really did a legitimate E3 2012 impressions video, but I did state that plain and simple, Microsoft sucked beyond any belief. Sony's was kind of a letdown, kind of, and Nintendo was looking promising, but half of their conference, was like, huh? But when it came from me, I was actually glad that that E3 was a letdown because it allowed me to get more games that I couldn't get before, and I'm happy to say that because of the fact that I wasn't able to get, any game. I didn't have as many new games this last year as this, what looks to be this year. I was able to clear out, my backup of retail games. So now, come Christmas time, it won't be. It's going to be a lot more cheap for me, you know. But when it comes to E3, it's the main event. This Sony press conference isn't going to mean anything. Even if we get told, hey, there's a PS4, they're still going to say, wait till E3. I'm going to get more into this, tomorrow. But do not be surprised if E3 becomes the main discussion again, because it's like I said, all the companies are waiting until E3 to come out in the open about stuff. So that's why I would honestly expect to wait until E3 to really get your hopes up, because that's when anything can happen. Like I said, we may be getting a lot of new hardware being announced there. I don't know yet. We don't know yet. No one knows at this time what will happen at E3, other than potentially some news from Microsoft in regards to the Xbox 720. I don't know yet. It's like I said, still too early. We're still 4 months away from E3. If you can believe it, we're already just 4 months away. It feels like E3 just happened, but needless to say, you guys are already well aware that I did announce that there will be 1 week of E3 coverage. It will not be 2-3 weeks of E3 coverage like last year. I severely trimmed it down to just 1 week. So now, when we do the E3 coverage, it's going to be non-stop. The good news is that even though there is going to be just 1 week of E3 coverage, the scope of the coverage for each of those days is going to be larger. So instead of doing like 1-2 hour streams each day, this is going to be a good, 5-hour stream potentially, because there's going to be so much to talk about by that point. So it's going to be very important to check that out. I'll be releasing more. More than likely. I'm trying to think of when I'm going to announce the exact dates. I already know it's going to be Saturday. Let me see. It's going to be, I believe, Saturday the 8th to Saturday the 15th, because of all that's going on. And remember that 4 of those days are going to be spent with E3 itself. I included just enough room for pre-E3 analysis and post-E3 analysis. So do expect quite a bit of E3 stuff. I don't know why I'm going on about E3 so much. You can tell I'm really excited about E3 more, because it's got so much potential. The coverage should hopefully do better. I honestly feel like, although the coverage was successful more for E3 itself, I think that was where the coverage shines, is when E3 itself and the week of E3 is covered, but not actually, a week or two before that. So what I may do is, also barring a Konami pre-conference, I may do a coverage stream on that. It's all going to depend on what is announced and when. At this point, details are still sketchy. Like I said, expect maybe a monthly update on E3 itself and the E3 coverage itself, and in terms of what will happen. Because if there's one thing, if there's one coverage stream I tend to do a lot in terms of effort and coverage time and everything, it's always E3. The only thing that compares to E3 in terms of coverage is Summer Sonic. And that we don't even know if it's happening yet. As far as I know, E3 is happening, but we don't know if Summer Sonic is happening yet. I've seen "See You Next Year" for official Summer Sonic tweets and messages and all that, but we haven't gotten an announcement yet, which is very awkward, considering that we had by this time an announcement of Summer Sonic last year. So it's really a question of what's going on. But needless to say, do expect a good stream tomorrow. It's like I said, it's going to be good practice for the coming E3 stream 4 months from now. As I said, I am still working out the details on the E3 coverage because there really isn't any concrete details on when the conferences are going to be. The conferences are going to be yet. There's no way of knowing. None of the companies are really thinking about announcing their E3 coverage times yet because it's still kind of far away. But I wouldn't be surprised if we got our first details next month at the earliest. So do expect some E3 news to be, the first true E3 news kind of leak out and, trickle, starting probably next month or so. Remember that it's already nearly March, so it's more like 3.5 months or so, but till E3. But in any case, I think I've gone on and about long enough about this. As I said, 4:30 p.m. Eastern Time, 9:30 p.m. UK time, 1:30 p.m. Pacific time is going to be the coverage stream at www.livestream.com/Sonic Paradox. You'll be able to watch coverage of the trailer, like any trailers, because people are really thinking not only is there going to be an announcement of the PS4, but they're thinking there's going to be game trailers too, and better believe we're going to be seeing all this live. So, with yours truly commentating, so we'll see how it goes. I mean, don't expect too much in the way of news. Like I said, I think Sony's gonna come out in the open about something, but they're not gonna say a whole lot because they're wanting to make sure there's something they can talk about at E3. So, like I said, I'll go all out with the Sony stuff and what I feel about what Sony's gonna do, and what they should do and whatever and all this. Any analysis and stuff like that will be tomorrow afternoon my time. So expect that. I figured that I really want to hype this up because obviously it's could very well be the next gen console being announced. I don't know. Don't keep your hopes up. Anything can happen, but I'm throwing this out there now and announcing it so that way you guys know and to make sure to tune in. We'll see how it goes, but for now, I will see you guys tomorrow afternoon at 4:30 p.m. Eastern Time, 9:30 p.m. UK time, 1:30 p.m. Pacific time for the Sony press conference press event coverage stream. Like I said, www.livestream.com/Sonic Paradox. But for now, see you guys then. Get hyped, everyone. Who the hell knows what's going to happen? I certainly don't know what's going to happen, but better believe it's going to be something to watch either way. But for now, see you guys then. Now this is SSF signing out. Sayonara, guys.